Sean with the Hands-On Science Center, and thank you for joining us for our next take-home science kit. Here with our Director of Education, Olga, and we're actually enjoying some outside today. This is a fun one. You guys get to get outside and get some sun, fresh air, rather than being cooped up in the house. So what are we doing today? What is this called?
Well, today we are going to do an outside activity, and it is called, how tall is that tree?
How tall is that tree?
Yeah.
We're going to figure out how to measure a tree?
Well, exactly. And I know that there's probably times that you look outside your yard thinking, I really wonder how tall that tree is. I probably need a lot of fancy technology to figure it out, but...
we don't need technology. I just need to put on my climbing shoes, and I'll climb up to the top of the tree. Is that how we do it?
You can, and it's probably not as safe, and you probably need a lot of equipment, more than what's in this bag, but you just need a few simple things. Some math. That's really what you need.
Let's grab out this little book here first. So, the important question I would have is, why do we care? What is the purpose? Why would people need to know how tall a tree is?
Well, actually, you might think that you might want to know how tall a tree is just for your, curiosity, but it's actually really important. So for wildlife habitats, it's important to know tree heights as well. So knowing ecological traits and knowing how ecosystem works, and some animals, they live in shadows more, they thrive more, and plants as well, they thrive better in shadows, and some need full sunlight. And the temperatures in shadows and in the sunlight's different as well. So some animals can survive very, very well, so that's very important as well. But it's not just for ecological traits and wildlife, also for forestry as well.
Yeah.
So sometimes when you see foresters out and they're observing the forest, seeing how much wood's there, maybe for timber production, needing to be able to cut down some trees, they need to know how much that forest is thriving, how well it can grow. So there's a good way before they go into a forest to see kind of how much wood would be available in the area. So there's two ways you can do it. You can climb, like you said, climb a tree and have all this equipment. And
see, there's a cute little picture there.
Right there.
The hard way, that was my way, climb a tree. And then it shows the easy way. It's people are paper and pencil.
Exactly.
So I have a feeling we're going to learn, paper and pencil, and how to do it the smart way instead of the hard way.
Yes, and all you need to know is just a little bit of math.
And so we're out here on a nice sunny day. When you're doing this at home, you're going to need to make sure you have a sunny day too. Why is that?
Well, that's because we're going to do a few different methods, and one of those methods includes shadows. So if you go outside on a really cloudy day, you're not going to see your shadow that much. But on a sunny day, you'll be able to see the tree's shadow and your shadow as well.
Great. All right. So we got a pretty sunny day here, so I think we'll be okay. So do we want to talk a little bit about shadows and stuff like that?
Yes.
We're talking about shadows?
Yeah, exactly. So, you might not think much about a shadow. Maybe sometimes on a really sunny day, you might look at your shadow and you might like to chase it, right? Chase a shadow. I know sometimes little animals, maybe really little kids, like to chase their shadows. It's a lot of fun. But believe it or not, about 5,500 years ago, that's 5,500 years ago, there were no iPhones or Androids or any kind of fancy technology or even clocks. So think about a time that you don't have I'm not wearing a watch today, but you're not wearing a watch, whether it's analog or digital. And people, they had to tell time. If they had a meeting or they had to go to work or school, they have to know the time. So sundials were a very, very important way to know the time. And what a sundial basically does is able to tell you the time based on the sun's position.
Yeah, very, very cool.
It's really important back then.
We actually have a cool exhibit here at the Hands-On Science Center. It's called a Human Sundial. You want to check that out real quick?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, let's show you our Human Sundial over here. It's real neat. All right, so here is our cool, sundial exhibit, and Olga's going to demonstrate for us. If you see right down here, first we have months. So Olga's going to go right up here to April, and she's going to stand there, and then she's going to raise her hand straight up in the air, and then we're going to look for her shadow. So if we go right here, the tip of her finger is right there, and we got a 12 and a 1, so it is right before 1 o'clock, and that is correct. So there we go, we're using the sun to tell time just like they did in the olden days. Now, that's not really related to our tree measuring that we're going to be doing here shortly. It just gives us some fun little facts about shadows and the cool things you can do with them. But right now, we're going to cut again, and then we are going to go and start measuring a tree. Alright, so right behind us, we have this massive tree. I have no idea how tall it is. Olga is about to teach us how to figure that out. And we're going to use a few different methods here. So what do we got? 2 methods in the book that we're looking at?
Yes, we do. And we are going to need a few things. So we need our tape measure.
All right, got a tape measure.
Okay, we need a friend. So Sean's my friend today.
Friend.
And then we need to have a piece of paper, which we're going to do for the next method. We need to have a calculator, which is right over here. Nice little one. Let's take it out the back. There.
Right.
And a tree. So there's the tree.
There is our tree. So this
All
first
right.
one, what are we going to do? Use
and
shadows?
we're gonna get our pencil out.
Oh,
as
yeah.
well. Get our pencil. And let's take out our worksheet as well. That's going to help
I
us.
can take that stuff and record it here if
Yeah.
you want. All right.
So what we are going to do is we are going to measure our height in inches while standing straight.
All right. So let me get out my tape measure here.
You want to measure your height or you want to measure my height?
Let's measure you.
Okay. I'm wearing a little bit of a heel, so I'm a bit taller than you, but that's okay. So we're going to do this in inches to make it easier. On top right here. Gonna stand nice and straight. Put my feet together.
You may need to use more of the tape measure. And so 60 is the tape measure plus another 3.
So about 63 is what you got?
About 63 inches.
All right, sounds good. So I'm 63 inches. So we're gonna write down my height, 63.
You look on your worksheet here. There's some questions to answer up there. Go ahead and skip that for now and go to method 1, measuring shadows. It says your height in inches, so 63.
Well, those questions actually would be good to do before we start as well, because you can predict which measurement you think would be a little bit better.
Oh,
as well.
yeah. You actually want to go ahead before you start on this method, read the method, and then go and also read the second method, and then figure out what you think might work best.
All right, we got 63 inches.
All right, so next here it says your shadow. So what are we going to do next?
All right, so now we want to make sure that we're standing by a tree that is flat ground. What that means is you don't want to pick a tree that's on top of a hill and you're the bottom of the hill, because that's going to be very inaccurate with your measuring. So stand near flat ground by the tree. You are trying to measure the tree up. Try to find a spot where your shadow falls along flat ground so you can get an accurate measurement.
All right, so I guess we are going to go ahead and move up towards this tree. So here we go. We're going to move up this way. So you want to get as close to the tree as possible so your shadows are kind of the same. So we're just going to kind of go over to the side here. And then we're going to get Olga.
We're going to go stand over here. All right. So what we're going to do is have a friend measure the length of your shadow and write down the number on your worksheet. So once again, we want to do inches because we want all the measurements to be the same. My shadow doesn't look that long actually. It's probably because it's, as we did the sundial video, a little bit after 12.
37.
About 37 inches. So you can make a prediction. Do you think if we did this activity later in the day, like 4 p.m., would your shadow be shorter or longer? Something to think about.
So I wrote down 37 in the little blank by your shadow.
All right. Now it says for step 5, measure the length of the tree's shadow.
All right. So this one is going to be a little trickier. we're gonna go ahead and get Olga to try to measure that.
All right. So what we want to do is measure from the trunk all the way to the longest edge, which is probably this one, right? So our tape measure that we have included in the kit is kind of a little bit short, so you'll just have to take a mark, whether it's with a stick or a rock, and then try to measure from there. So there's a little bit of adding to do. All right, so let's start right here. 0. And you want to make this very side. 240 plus 32. So that's 272 inches. That's how long our tree shadow is.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and write that on the sheet. You said 272?
272.
All right, we're going to write that down and we will be right back.
So we want to actually take half of the measurement of the diameter, not the circumference, the diameter of the tree. And the reason for that is the tree is really, really tall, and there's some of the shadow over top that's fallen over, so it might make it seem a little bit longer than it is. So don't measure it like this. We want to measure it from here to here. So how much that is right here. So that is about 15. So I'm going to say 7.7 inches. For that part, so I'm going to remember that number. 7.7. Okay. So we are going to do 272 plus 7.7, which is 279.5. When I meant 7.7, I meant to say 7.5. All right.
All right.
So now,
But just go over that one more time, so make sure everybody got that. We took our Olga's height, which was the 63 inches. We have the Olga's shadow, which is 37 inches. And then the next number we need is the length of the shadow, which was 272 plus half the diameter. The diameter was 15. Half of that is 7.5. So that third important number we got comes to 279.5. So we are going to use those in just a second. All right, everybody. We are ready to move on to step 2. This one is going to be interesting because this one we're going to use a lot more actual math, right?
Yes,
So
we are.
it's a tricky word. It's called trigonometry. It's a whole area of math that deals with triangles and angles and things like that. So how are we going to possibly use trigonometry to determine the height of our tree?
Well, we are actually going to just use a piece of paper. And I know that doesn't sound like much, but we are going to fold our piece of paper over so it makes a right triangle. So what does a right triangle mean? That means that on the corner, like an L shaped, like a corner of a box, it's 90 degrees. So because of that magical 90-degree angle, it is going to help us measure with eye distance from the top of the tree, and we'd be able to see how tall our tree is with just a little bit of more of adding here and there as well.
Cool, so I guess we need a piece of paper first, right?
Yes.
So we got our piece of paper out of here. And I'm just going to fold it into a triangle, right?
Yep, we're going to fold it to a triangle.
So I'm just going to fold this one edge down here. So we got a nice point. You want to make sure. Now the angle is very important, so you want to line it up. Be real careful. So this is right along that edge. Point there, right there. So I said a triangle. It doesn't have to be a perfect triangle. You can cut this part off if you want. You don't really need to, because the important angle is this angle right here,
which is called the hypotenuse.
Yeah. So in this angle, it's formed right here and here. What how many degrees is that, Olga?
Those are 45-degree angles, right
so
there.
45. So that's what we got. Now I guess what do? We just bring it to the tree and go into the next step.
Yeah, let's go to the next step.
All right. Back at our tree again, and I got my triangle here. What am I going to do next, Olga?
All right. So you are going to hold the triangle in front of one eye.
Okay.
So you want to have one eye open, one eye closed. By holding a corner opposite from 90-degree angle. So your 90 degrees that point right there.
So I'm going to hold it right here, and that's going to be right at my eye, right?
Yes. And you want to make sure you're standing nice and straight. And see the picture below here in the booklet as well. So you want to be nice and straight. Looking right at it. And then point the rest of the triangle toward you. One of the short sides should be vertical.
So I'm going to kind of hold it on both of these corners here.
The rest of the triangle toward you. One of your short sides should be vertical, which is the flat side, and the other should be, or excuse me, horizontal, which is the flat side, and the other should be vertical, which is pointing straight up. Right here, you should be able to look up along the longest side by raising your eyes. Longest side right here, just your hypotenuse.
Okay. So I'm going to line this corner right here up at the base of the tree. This corner right here, right at my eye. And then this corner, we got to line up with right at the tip of the top of the tree. So it's a little windy. If you have a sunny day that's not windy, this will be better. But I'm going to line this up here. That's up there. Now, what I'm going to do is walk forward or backwards until the tip, right up here, is right at the top of the tree. So I'm going to go forward like this.
You want to make sure you have one eye closed for really accurate measurement.
So right about there. All right, so we got our mark right about here. You can kind of see that angle. I had all the corners lined up just right. What do we do now?
All right, so until you see the exact top of the tree, which you were able to, you want to find the point where your line of sight follows the longest side of the triangle to the very top of the tree. Now, we want to mark that spot. So
Mark the spot right here.
let's use the pencil that I have for now.
Right.
So you want to mark the spot and measure the distance from the base of the tree. So let's go and in our bag, tape measure. Okay. We are going to start measuring from the pencil all the way to the base of the tree. All right, that's 444. So, got my calculator over here. If you do 144, or 444 divided by 12, that is 37 even on the nose. So our tree is about 37 feet right there. So we want to remember that number and write it down. So then in that case, we can compare it to our other answers that we have. All right, so we got our second tree measurement, and if we stick around here in a few minutes, you will see that extra bonus footage that we promised you for a third method of how to measure your tree. So we can see which way is more fun, easier, more accurate, and hopefully all of our numbers are around the same. Let's go and check it out.
All right, guys, so for this video, we have something fun. This is not in your booklet. We're just going to teach you a third method of measuring a tree. This one's actually super simple. All you need is a ruler and a friend. And Olga is my friend, and she's down there by the tree. So let's go ahead and spin you guys around here. And we can see Olga way down there. Hi, Olga! All right, so this is really easy, guys. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stand a good distance from the tree, and then I'm gonna hold up this ruler right at arm's length. And I'm just gonna look down the ruler, and I'm gonna put the 0 right at the base of the tree. And then I'm just gonna look up the ruler and see how long the tree is. So we can see it is 11 inches. So that's how big our tree is, 11 inches. No, not quite. Because now we got to get a perspective. So we are going to get Olga to move to the right, and then we're just going to turn our ruler. Now I'm putting the 0 mark right at the very center of the tree, and I'm going to have Olga keep moving until she is at the 11 inches. There we go. And stop. So right there, you can see, according to, let's go a little bit more. Right there. Oh, one step back. Perfect. So you can see, by my perspective, she is now exactly 11 inches from the tree. Also by my perspective, that tree is 11 inches tall. So whatever distance she is from the tree is, if we did it absolutely perfect, which we didn't, so it's going to give us an estimate, but it should be the same distance from her to the tree as the tree is tall. So we are going to go over here and we are going to see how far from the tree Olga is. Alright, so since this is a special bonus one and we are getting an estimate, you can grab out your tape measure if you want. I happen to know that my foot is almost exactly 12 inches long with my shoe on, so I am going to go ahead and start measuring. Four, 35, 36, 37. Super simple, special bonus method on determining how to determine the height of a tree. All right, guys, so we're still out enjoying the good weather, but we have to do some math now. So I'm gonna try see if I can figure this out, and I got Olga here to help me. So let's see, it said method 1, measuring shadows. So it says your height 73, we got that.
63.
63. Your shadow 37. And then we did that little calculation with the tree's shadow plus half the diameter. So we got 279.
All in inches.
All in inches, yes, exactly. So we are going to plug them in. If you look down, it says number 1. We're going to plug the numbers in. So your height, so 63. Tree's shadow, and that is that not just the shadow, but half the diameter added. So that's the 279.5. And so 63 times 279.5. Figure that out?
Right?
Yes.
279.5 is 17,608.5.
2,608.5. All right. So number 2, your answer from number 1. So that's that 17,608.5 divided by your shadow. So we go back up to the top here, divided by 37. So 17,608.5 divided by 37.
I got 475.9.
475.9. So that is how many inches our tree should be tall. Now, if we divide that by 12, that's going to tell us how many feet. It doesn't say that on here, but in case you want to know.
39.6 feet.
39.6.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. All right. So now remember, again, these are just kind of
You're
estimates.
6 foot, right? So that's like 6 Sean's
Yeah.
stacked up.
There we go. So that's what we got for that first method. Now we're going to go on to our second method, and that was the one using the trigonometry. So, since your triangle paper is 45 degrees, the tangent, now we didn't really talk about tangent yet. Tell us a little bit about what that means, Olga.
All right. So if we look over here in our booklet, tangent is when there's the trig functions, that's what they're called. And they're most commonly used are sine, cosine, and tangent. So the rules tell us that tangent equals the opposite side divided by the adjacent side. So your tangent is To make it easy, I drew Sean right here, a little stick figure, just because this is the side he was looking at. So your tangent is your opposite side, which is opposite from this angle, divided by your adjacent side, which is right here. Adjacent, the one that's the side that's next to the angle, next to that Sean was at. So this side divided by this side would equal to 1. So that kind of already makes it really, really easy.
So that makes super simple math because we are now going to, so it says the height of the tree divided by the distance of the tree equals 1 because we have a 45 degree and we know the tangent of 45 is 1. So I guess that also tells us the distance from the tree is the height of the tree. So super, super simple. And so our distance from that tree that we wrote down here was 37. Pretty darn close.
Yeah.
Because our
yes.
other method, we got, what did we get? We got 39.6. And for this one, we wrote down 37. Pretty close. And then when we did that special secret third method, that one, we said 39. So that was right on. So we got a 39.7, a 39, and a 37. Again, you know, this isn't a perfect way to do it. It's to give you an estimate. And we just showed using 3 different ways that they come out almost exactly the same.
That is really cool. We know
Yeah.
how tall our tree is now.
Yeah. So then there's a couple of other questions here that you can answer. And I guess that's it.
We hope you had fun being outdoors and just seeing what's around. You know, you probably see the same trees in your yard all the time, and you never really think about how tall it actually is. But math can take you a long way.
The big thing is take pictures because next Sunday, the day after we release this kit, we're going to have on Facebook our Show Us Sunday, the Take Home Science Show Us Sunday. And for this one, all we want to do is just see some pictures of you guys out in nature having fun. Whatever picture gets the most loves or likes is actually going to win a really cool prize from us here at the Hands-On Science Center. So, you know, get your parents to put those pictures on there. Tell all your friends to like them and try and get make our post go viral. You know, speaking of that, different ways you can help us. Biggest way to help us, share all these things we're doing. Not only are we doing these take-home science kits, but we do our science daily posts. Obviously, if you can help financially, if you go to www.hosc.org, click in the gift shop, and then there's a little donate section in there. That would be very, very helpful. But if you can't do that, that's fine. All we need is people to get the word out about what we're offering, all these new great programs, and share our posts, comment on our posts, like the posts, tell your friends about us, and help us get the word out about all this really important science stuff that we're doing. So thank you very much, Olga, for teaching us this. This was really cool. I like to get outside every now and then.
Absolutely.
So thank you guys for watching. You have a great day.
Bye-bye.